100.
Interesting.
What?
It picked up that sound on the microphone.
Oh, it did? Oh, my bad.
No, you good. Welcome to the hood.
I heard the sound of police sirens and Cordova every night.
You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because y'all have a Dixie Queen now. Y'all have don't y'all got churches or something out there?
Well,
y'all have a few melanated fast food places on that side of town.
That's a nice way to put it. Melanated fast food places. The Dixie Queen is on Germantown Parkway, and then they're putting a Guthrie's Chicken or something like right down the street.
What is Guthrie's Chicken?
I don't know. It's a new spot.
Never heard of Guthrie's Chicken. Well, hey, I don't even eat chicken, so
yeah, I was about to say you don't eat chicken.
Well,
either, so.
I'm still a foodie, so I would still be up on good food spots or something like that, or hear of good food spots.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you make mention of that, do you feel that it's, hold on. Let me go ahead and get this podcast started before I go ahead and start asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. What's goody? What's good? This is Jason J. Will Does It, and I got my guy Sam Ivan the Great, aka Shaw.
I love it.
All right, bet. So my first question, since we was talking about food popping up and all that, do you find it weird, or have you even noticed all of these? This wasn't even on topic, by the way, but all of these seafood places popping up.
Yes, man.
I'm like, this is kind of weird. I'm like, ain't that much fish, shrimp, lobster, crab in the world, and there have been like 4 or 5 seafood restaurants that just popped up.
4 or 5, man. We talking. It's probably more than that, because you got Juicy Crab, which I know is a chain out of the
Juicy Crab.
Yeah, it's called Juicy Crab. Yeah.
Who runs this? Squidward and SpongeBob. They sell Krabby Patties. I ain't never heard of it.
No, it's on Winchester, and then I think they're opening up another location on Park in Mendenhall area, somewhere over there, where Burlington is or was or something like that. And there's a OD's Seafood. There's a couple seafood spots on Germantown Parkway. There's a couple more, there's quite a few of them all over the.
I know there's a few out there out there on stage and rock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. Red Hook and something. Yeah,
like a seafood buffet.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
Yeah, it is a bit strange.
Man, what y'all niggas eating? No one is asking the questions. Hey, what's in this fish?
Or is it fish?
Right. Y'all just eating it.
Because I know that in particular, there are, the seafood is farmed. So a lot of times you really don't. You don't. It's not. It's not wild caught unless it says on the package like you buy it out of the store.
They feeding y'all that throwaway meat. That throwaway fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I think niggas forget that there was a nuclear plant that leaked off into the ocean out in Asia. You're eating like maybe radiated nuclear fish, shrimp.
I don't know, man.
Crabs.
I would, what's interesting about that, what you just mentioned is, I did a little bit of reading on the Chernobyl explosion.
Wooddale did provide us a great education.
Yeah, Wooddale was not bad. I was able to read before I got to Wooddale, sir. So, but Wooddale did provide a high quality college preparatory education. It did. And I was reading about the the nuclear meltdown, and of course in Russia, and the ground around the area is still contaminated. Like, what is it, like 30 years later or something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, how many? Because we talked about chemical effects, the effects of the chemicals in everything. Like, what kind of things have happened that we don't know about right here on our soil,
right,
in our water? Like, we've been ingesting, drinking, eating for the last 50, 60, 70 years.
We only know the stuff that they want you to know about.
Yeah, that we see, you know what I mean? Like, we only know so much. So, I have become highly curious of all the seafood spots that have popped up. And really, like, we're not the only one saying it. I know several people that are like, man, where's all this seafood come from? Like,
okay, thank you.
We're nowhere near the Gulf. And there's only so much, like, and sometimes I think at certain times of year it may be fresher, or I know when you're closer to the water it's fresher. But where is all this stuff coming from all of a sudden?
Now,
like, where's the surplus of seafood? You know what I'm saying?
Now, it would be different if there was catfish spots popping up, but this is seafood spots.
Oh, we're talking shellfish, we're talking
everything,
crab, lobster, right. And not to mention that stuff is expensive to get. It's really expensive to get.
Not if it's the throwaway meat.
Maybe, yeah, you're right. Or the GMO,
the contaminated.
Yeah.
If it's the contaminated, oh sure,
yeah,
let's give this away at the discount price.
Yeah. So,
and there you go.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's just, yeah. I had a conversation a while back about that. It was like, y'all don't find it weird that it's going to all these little seafood spots?
Man, it's a bunch of them.
Every time I'm hearing something new, a new spot. Like, what is this? I was a new seafood spot that just popped up. Like, word?
And they still opening. Like it's like every couple of weeks there's a new seafood spot open.
Man, that is crazy.
Yeah, and you would think that, not just because it's Memphis, but you would think that we would probably have more rib, burger, and like we got a bunch of them, but I'm saying you would probably think you would get more, maybe even more chicken, barbecue, grill, like, you know what I'm saying?
You got enough barbecue spots.
But I'm just saying, like,
niggas barbecuing outside their house and selling plates. So.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if you're gonna see new spots popping open, you would probably think to see stuff that you could get your hands on a lot easier. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
so
since we're on this subject, a few people have been asking me about being plant-based. How did I go about becoming plant-based? And in all honesty, it wasn't something I was trying to do intentionally.
Okay.
It's like, I did a fast. Well, I did a detox. Well, I did a cleanse and then I did a detox. However you want to. If maybe I did one before the other, but either way, I was already doing like cleanses and stuff like that. I always try and make sure I do one like at the beginning of the year or something like that or whatever. But this one time after I did a detox, I noticed I wasn't craving certain things. It was just like I wasn't even craving meat. You know what? No, scratch that. I'll tell you. The very first time I came off of that, I was like, all right, cool. You know, like when you're thinking about a certain type of food and you don't have access to it, it's like as soon as I get in town, I'm gonna go get this. All right, so I did the fast, and I'm like, all right, bet I'm gonna go to this little famous little chicken spot. They had this little special. It was like chicken strips. It was fried chicken strips, fried okra. It was something. It was a whole bunch of fried stuff, and I had fries and all that other type of stuff with it, right? So I ate the food, tore it up. Then, like within about 30 minutes, I felt horrible. Horrible. I immediately went to sleep, and it was like for the rest of the week, I was pussyfooting around. I was sluggish. I didn't feel nowhere near how I felt when I was on the detox and the cleanse. So I was like, man, this food make you feel like this?
Right.
So after I peeped that, I left it alone. And I started back just eating regular stuff, so I felt better. Man, that nigga got hit. See how high in there?
Ooh, was that
It's Tannehill, look like.
Oh, it's Tannehill. That's right. Okay.
But yeah, I just started realizing the effects that it was having on my body, so I just left it alone. So a few other times I was like, you know what? I finna see if it really had this effect. So I tried it again and ate something that I probably shouldn't had no business. Ate Dixie Queen.
Ooh, I don't eat Dixie Queen right now. Not saying that I'm
as much
better
as you
than
ride
anybody.
up and down, I see the junk all the time. So I was like, you know what? I was craving a suicide slush. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and get one of these little bacon cheeseburgers real quick. Dude, horrible. Felt horrible.
Feel bad. Yeah.
Once you start realizing that how the food affects your body, I was like, you know what? My body is telling me, dude, we don't need this poison.
That's true. Your
This is
body
this
will
poison.
talk to you.
Leave it alone. So I left it alone. And after a while, I quit. I didn't even crave chicken, didn't even crave one the hamburger, all this other type of stuff. The only thing I had an issue with was cheese. If you do research on cheese,
it's mold.
Cheese is one of the most addictive foods to have. It's like coming off of heroin.
Yep.
Heroin.
Yeah. And it's pure mold anyway.
I think the ingredient, what is it, casein, whatever they call it. That ingredient is what makes it addictive.
Casein or whatever it is. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
If you notice, if you go anywhere, any restaurant, any dish that you order is going to have cheese on it. Any restaurant you go to, unless it's like a vegan, but any restaurant you go to and you go look at the entree, I bet money is going to have cheese on it. If you get mashed potatoes, it's going to have some cheese on it. If you get broccoli, it's going to have some sprinkled cheese on it or something. They're going to put some cheese on your dish. When they serve broccoli, don't it come with some type of cheesy substance on it?
I know you can get it.
You can get it without the cheese, but if you have the broccoli without the cheese, there is something else on your plate that has cheese on it.
Yeah, so like if you go to, which I like Piccadilly still, every now and then. When you go and you got your was that broccoli in rice casseroles, got cheese in it.
Yep.
Of course, mac and cheese. You
Can't have mashed potatoes without the cheese.
They usually have some type of, what is it? Now you're seeing more of the loaded baked potatoes with cheese, and then you got your loaded mashed potatoes, which has cheese and bacon in it. Oh, yeah, you're right. Pretty much cheese everywhere. You know something? Not to cut you off. I was watching a clip from Dion Cole stand up, and I'm not sure if it was his.
Is their junk not better than? Okay,
well, no, it's just a clip from it. But
you didn't see the whole thing?
I didn't see the whole thing yet. Not yet. It's a clip where he's talking about the food that people eat, and he said that it was funny, but it made a lot of sense, and it made me kind of take a look at my own. Eating habits, really, because what I try to do is, like, even from talking to you and listening to different information on how to adjust and change my diet over time, and then too, like when I watch shows, or when I look at somebody's comedy, there are things in it that I pull out that I can help apply to myself, because in humor I still hear the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And
so he was saying, like, man, you've been big your whole life, like, be small for once. You know what I'm saying? Like, try it out, see how it feels. And so he said it in a joking manner, but he also was like, hey, like, don't eat that shit. Right. And he was like, no, for real, don't eat it. He was like, you already know how it tastes. Which I was like, you know what? You got a point, Doc. He was like, you already know how it tastes.
Right.
You've already had it 1,000 times.
You know the effects that it has on you.
Yeah. But see, that's the other part. So here's the other part of my story. Some years ago, I can count the amount of times I've had Church's chicken since like 2002. And it's probably been twice.
Yeah.
Both times that I ate it. And this was like in 05, 06, I ate some Church's, and I was working for a company at the time out in Cordova in an office setting. We go to lunch, and me and one of my coworkers, he's passed away now, God rest his soul, but great guy. We go to churches. So we both grew up in the hood going to churches, you know what I'm saying? Which at that time, I was a lot more fit. I was, working out, playing ball still every day. And, man, I went to churches and we ate lunch. It was cool. We sitting there talking. We get back to the office. I sat down at my desk, and it was probably about 15 minutes. I was like, man,
stomach hurt.
I was like, stomach I got a little queasy. And I was like, oh, man, I probably need to give me a Sprite or something to settle my stomach. You know what I'm saying? When he got me a little Sprite, that didn't help. Dude, I started having like this tightness in my neck. Like, I started getting hot. Mm-hmm. Like seriously, like I started feeling terrible. Man, I missed 2 days after that from work. I had to take 2 sick days after that. And it wasn't food poisoning. Mm-hmm. It was not food poisoning. And I was like,
grease.
I said, man, like, dude, like, I really felt like, man, I'm talking about, and finally, like, dude, I was like down, like I was really sick. And so I was like, okay, man, I think it was that Church's. It had to be that, because nothing. So then here I go a couple years later. I want to say probably 6, 7 years later, I tried it again. Mm-hmm. Same exact effect, bro. I was like, okay, I'm listening. I'm not eating this stuff. No. And all I had was like 2-piece or 3-piece or something like that. And I was like, man, I can't. Like, I'm not supposed to be eating this. And my body was telling me I can't eat.
And see, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, they'll have something that's going, they might feel sick, but they will never chalk it up to something that they had just ate.
Or they'll just automatically assume food poisoning, but they won't say, my body's really rejecting this stuff.
Right.
Like, your body will tell you you don't need that.
At some point, your body going to be like, nigga, I'm getting tired of taking this stuff. Quit feeding me this shit. Dead serious. It's like, hey,
Like people don't realize, man, your body will communicate to you.
right.
Like you know,
You're gonna start having some chest pains.
something,
You're gonna
yeah.
fall out.
Yeah, I mean, it's man, the body is so amazing. Your brain will send that message that, oh, hey, you don't need this, and that's why I think that immediately after, you know, we call it the itis. After we eating certain foods, we automatically get sleepy.
Yes, and we brag about the itis.
We'll see, and that's the funny part. So we got Thanksgiving,
and we
coming
shouldn't brag about the
right,
itis.
because you shouldn't want to fall into a deep coma-like sleep after you eat.
Okay, I'm gonna say some word to the wise. Good food will not put you to sleep. Good food will make you feel energized.
Right.
Good food will electrify you. You're wanting to move around and have more fun and be active.
Right.
Good food ain't gonna put you to sleep.
Right.
Good food ain't gonna keep you on the couch.
Yeah.
Not wanting to move anywhere.
Right. That's what's happening. Like, that's what happens, man. That's really what happens. We eat, and then
Your body is telling you. I put like this, like how I try and describe it to people is like, think of it like a computer. Think of your body like a computer. As soon as you get something poisonous or a virus, the computer does what? You immediately get the blue screen of death, or it shuts down.
Or before that happens, you'll start to see programs get
Slowing down, right.
Slowing down. Some of them will shut down automatically.
Right.
And now you have programs that will they'll tell you, hey, there's an error. I will shut down in 23 seconds or whatever, automatically, and reboot.
Or you'll just hit ignore.
Yep.
We are, as human beings,
We're hitting ignore.
your computer is telling you, hey, we slowing down over here. Hey, you've allowed some poisonous substance to enter. Would you like to correct this? We just be like, ignore.
Ignore.
I'm going to sleep, nigga. This food was delicious. Ain't nothing wrong with here. I'm about to go to sleep. Ignore. Ignore. Ignore.
Yep.
Ignore. Oh my God. Sam just had a heart attack.
Yep. System failure, shut down.
Right.
Blue screen.
You keep ignoring it, John. Your body gonna be like, okay, all right. You don't care? I guess we might as well just go shut down.
I mean, it's so crazy, man, because it's so difficult a lot of times to break bad habits. You know, you've been eating a certain way or living a certain lifestyle for so long. It takes a conscious effort to, it takes a conscious effort to not continue to do those things anymore.
Right.
And I myself have had to take a deep look at myself and say, okay, how long do you want to be around? Like, this is serious. Like, it has become serious business, because you stop and say, okay, what decisions am I willing to make? What sacrifices? And to be honest, they're really not sacrifices, because sacrifice means you give up something you need. You know what I mean? Something you need in order for a greater good, but it's really stuff that you don't need and you shouldn't have had in the first place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I say, man, that I am taking more of a serious look at what I eat. You know, I remember I was listening to a recording of Minister Malcolm, and was talking about what we take in, what we as black folks eat, and then of course I started, I listened to Minister Farrakhan talk about the book that Honorable Elijah Muhammad put out about eating to live. You know what I'm saying? And in that book, just detailing the foods that were healthy for us to, to take in and to eat that will give us longevity. Now, a lot of people may say, oh, this Nation of Islam, whatever. Man, like, I don't care who it is. I'm willing to take good information from anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm
Good
saying?
information is good info.
It's good information. So, in looking at the contents of that, man, like, it is Like, it's great information. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to be a different way. You know what I mean? It's got to be a different way. Like, we can't keep, we can't keep doing the same stuff.
We're too trusting of the system.
Mm-hmm.
We are too trusting, too believing. We're like, hey, this food is good for you. Just go ahead and eat it already. Like, what? I don't know, guy. Like, okay, so like I said, like I said before, we don't ask questions about the food. We just eat it.
We just eat it. Yeah.
Like, I had a conversation with my relatives probably like about a week or so ago. And you almost got to break it down like this for people to understand. You will not continue to live if you keep eating death.
Yeah.
And what I mean, like, dead flesh is death.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not eating anything alive to counteract that. So it's like you constantly keep eating this dead meat, this dead flesh.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever see dead flesh out in the street, eventually it does what? It rots, it decays, it does all of this. So if it does this outside, what do you think it's doing inside of your intestines? And some people, like we discussed on the previous podcast, ain't eliminating their waste for days and weeks. So now you get this petrified,
that's bad,
meat, rotted flesh sitting inside of your stomach, your intestines, and you're wondering why you're sick.
Yep.
And you're not taking in any vegetables to move it along, to help get it out or anything like that. But we have these excuses like, I don't want to eat that. It made me go to the bathroom.
When you're supposed to go anyway.
But your body wants you to get rid of this mess out of your system.
Yeah.
And so if you keep eating like that, you will eventually die sooner than later.
Yeah. Because, what we eat is not supposed to stay with us. It's actually we're supposed to
receive the nutrients.
And the nutrients is what stays with us to sustain us, right?
Right.
Because even when I found out about, we talked about last podcast about the intake of water, being hydrated. A lot of times we think we're hungry, but we're really thirsty. We're really thirsty. We're really dehydrated. And that's why I started drinking more water, especially working outside, sweating, perspiring, and losing a lot of that stuff, and then having to replace it, thinking, okay, because one time me and the guy that works with me, excuse me, we had worked early that day. We had started, I think, about 8 o'clock, and then around 12:30 or 1, we went and had lunch, right? So we still had a full day. So we went and had lunch, and we ate lunch. We didn't even really eat a big, heavy lunch. It was heavy enough. But 30 minutes after we got done with lunch and we started back working, we noticed we were moving a lot slower. And it wasn't because we were trying to move slow. And I was like, dude, I thought I was moving faster, but I'm really not moving that fast. He was like, dude, it was that food that we ate. He was like, we shouldn't have ate that. He was like, man, we really are dragging. You know what I'm saying? Like,
think about war. Think about wartime. Mm-hmm. If war was about to happen right now, and you're filled with this meat, that pause. That you just got finished eating, you're full, and then wartime just happens. Nigga, do you know how slow you're going to be against an opponent who probably hadn't eaten or is just eating from their native foods or whatever like that?
So, to your point,
that's the reason why we got guns and tanks and stuff like that, because we sluggish. So I ain't light on my feet.
Do you remember, or have you ever heard of one of the techniques, one of the tactics that they would use against the opposing
The enemy.
the enemy was they would
Thanksgiving dinner theirs.
yeah, exactly.
Hey, come have dinner with us.
Come have dinner with us. Come eat with us. Eat,
Right.
drink, and be merry. Once they got full of food and alcohol, they were the most easiest to be taken
slaughter.
advantage of in the slaughter.
Right.
That's why they say fatten up for the kill. You know what I'm saying? And we used to think, okay, and even when they would go out to fight,
Sorry to put a damper on your holiday that's coming up, but
Yeah,
that's
sorry
what
about that,
that's
guys.
what Thanksgiving is.
what would it? Nah, I call your holiday hell day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that's pretty much the origin of it.
Right.
Thanksgiving is really not about. It's really not about giving thanks. It's about killing indigenous people, murdering and slaughtering them, and taking their land. That's
Thanks for
pretty much
giving.
it.
Thank you for this land.
Thank you. No, it should be Takesgiving is what it should be called. You know what I'm saying?
Give me this chain.
Yeah, exactly. So, being fattened up to be taken advantage of, because now you're sluggish, you're slow, you're sleepy, you can't respond fast. And if anybody out there knows the feeling, in particular when you eat pork or food that is greasy, there's a feeling, and there's research to support this. There's a feeling that you feel from eating certain foods that gives you the feeling of euphoria, almost to the point like where you're in a state of extreme calm and relaxation. You know what I'm saying? And at that point in time, you're most vulnerable. Because think about it. You go to Thanksgiving dinner at mama's house, grandma's house, auntie house, sister house, whoever. Everybody eats. What's the first thing uncle, daddy, grandpa, whatever, you see everybody sitting on the couch, either half sleep or asleep.
Sleep.
And this is at 2:30 in the afternoon, and they're asleep like it's 1:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, I think that it's probably not good to eat. That's because people be like, you know, one thing I trip out about, like people, of course, talk about chitlins, right? Chitterlings, which is hog intestines, pig intestines. Okay.
That's the worst thing folks could eat, man. But go ahead, continue.
Like I already know. So you got that. You got your dressing. You got your turkey. You got your yams. You got your green beans. You got your casseroles. And then on top of that, let's go ahead and add. Some some sugar to it. So let's add some cakes and pies on top of it, right? Which slows you down even more, because all sugar does is it loads you up and then you crash afterwards.
Not like you don't have enough sugar in the yams.
Already. Right. So, and then it's like, you're like, woo, Lord, I'm so full. I'm so relaxed. Oh, now man, I'm sleepy.
You forgot the Jack or the Hennessy.
Oh yeah,
and that's sugar.
That's sugar all day long. That's sugar all day long. So I don't know, man.
See, this one, like, I don't think a lot of people realize the cluster of things that comes together when you sit down to eat. You know what I'm saying? So True. It's like, all right, so you get more meat on your plate than vegetables.
Oh man!
So you got this big ass slab of ribs or steak.
We got
because it is not like it's the good cuts of meat.
Nope.
It's not the lean meat. It's the fatty meat.
Yep, it's the fatty meat.
So you got the ribeyes. You got the rack of ribs. Truth be told, lamb is not that healthy, but you're eating lamb or whatever like that. So you have all these big slabs of meat on your plate. Then you probably have, and sometimes I done went to barbecues and ain't no vegetables on the plate.
No.
It's red sausage links, barbecue chicken patty,
ribs, and some bread.
Barbecue shoulder,
and some bread,
and some white bread,
and some white bread,
And now, truth be told, I don't even think people even pay attention to this with white bread. Put water on white bread and see what that bread does.
I already know.
So guess what that bread is doing in your body? Mm-hmm. If you put water on white bread, it turns to paste. Mm-hmm. So guess what's inside of your body after you eating this white bread?
The same thing.
You got white glue paste sitting in your intestines. And you wonder why you can't go to the bathroom now.
Because it's blocking it.
Now you stopped up. Mm-hmm. You get, and mind you, how many pieces of white bread have you eaten?
So you got the white bread you got on the side. And then you got the white bread that you probably put your chicken on. Or your hamburger.
Right.
And then you got the white bread. Oh, you got the bread that's the crust of the peach cobbler.
Now, that one might not be as bad, so to speak, as just. But it depends. It depends.
Yeah,
it depends on how it's made.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I mean, and now that you say it, like, yeah, man, we eating some terrible shit.
Yes,
like we are eating some terrible stuff, man.
And it's like I started paying attention. What I started doing was making sure if I ate a certain way that at least it was balanced. Mm-hmm. We don't have a balanced meal. If you go to a barbecue, you get nothing but 6 different kinds of meats on your plate.
Wow. Man.
Maybe some coleslaw, some potato salad.
That's terrible. God, that's terrible.
And I just said, potato salad still ain't really it is a vegetable, but that's a starch.
Yeah, it's a starch.
So it's like you still ain't got no greens. Nothing green.
And then if you think about how you're not even really supposed to cook greens anyway. You're not even supposed to cook. You're supposed to steam them.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Green vegetables, you're really supposed to steam because when you cook them, you cook the nutrients out of them anyway.
Right.
But that's why back in the day,
that's why you boil them.
And then remember, what they call pot liquor. Mm-hmm. They would cook the greens, and then and I know in particular, like my dad used to be like, "Hey, give me some of that pot liquor on the side," and it was because it tastes good. But they would drink the pot liquor because that's where all the nutrients was after you cooked all of the stuff out of the greens. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Same way with what people be like, it's too green. Like that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And again, it's like when you have this conversation, I understand the term when they say ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of us just don't want to hear that shit. Like, man, don't come to me with this nigga. Like, okay, I ain't gotta come to you with it, but you asked me. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, I'm having this conversation because you asked me. Yeah. I ain't just randomly out here, hey, no meat.
No big sign.
Eat veggies.
Standing on Poplar saying, do not eat meat.
Yeah,
some people do it.
No, I don't force it. I don't try and force it on you. Mm-hmm. It comes up into a conversation, but I don't try and force it on you. Because I remember I used to work with this guy, and all the time all he used to say was, hey, I'm a vegan. Like, okay, dude. All right, we get it.
It's a status thing for some people, man. It's a status thing for real.
But I always used to make fun of him about being a vegan, and now, voila, here I am.
Yeah.
But I ain't putting it in everybody's face like, hey, I'm a vegan.
Yeah, and you're not using it as a discriminatory armor. You know what I'm saying? You're not like, oh man, I'm a vegan. Look at you. Your stomach is bigger than your back. Like, look at you. And I don't eat none of that. Look, you say some people that's like that too.
And then the other thing is like people are so into gimmicks when they want to lose weight. But when I tell you a very successful way to lose it and it will stay off, people be like, I don't want to be on that. Give me some of this tummy tea. Okay, all right.
Tummy tea.
Let the tummy tea work for you.
What is that anyway?
Okay, so the premise of it is that you're taking this tea with these herbs or whatever, fruits and whatever's in the water. But at the end of the day, the whole gimmick of it is it's a gimmick to make you drink more water. That's all it is.
Okay. I never really understood it, but okay.
Because you're buying these jugs of water that has these different lemons or fruit or cucumbers or whatever, and might have some different herbs in the water as well. But at the end of the day, you're drinking more water.
Right.
Because if people understood that if you really want to lose weight, if you drink half your body weight in ounces, you're automatically going to lose weight because, one, your appetite is going to be gone because you're going to be full already. Your body's going to really let you know when you're hungry, when you need to eat. Half of your weight is going to drop off within 2 weeks, like just that alone.
Right.
You don't even need to have the lemon in the water. You don't even need to have all of that in the water. Just drinking water, half your body weight. Like I used to weigh 265 pounds.
Wow.
So I ended up just started drinking 100 ounces of water a day. 100 ounces of water a day curbed my appetite where I wasn't eating as much. And understanding that what you were saying earlier, that my stomach is growling don't necessarily mean that I'm hungry. I'm thirsty.
Right.
Once I figured that out, start drinking water, I ain't hungry. When I'm really hungry,
Right.
now I'm eating.
Right.
All that dropped off within 6 weeks time. I dropped off 20 pounds just like that.
Yeah.
Just doing that alone. I wasn't even working out.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Let me see where this go.
Yeah.
Boom. Just like that.
And it's gone. You know, the interesting thing with, and I know we're kind of sounding kind of like this show is kind of more serious, maybe.
Yeah.
Serious tone right now. That is, of course, with us, it's probably
It's going to be flipped in a second.
Yeah. So, but I notice, and I'm just using myself. I talk about me because I know me better than anybody else. The times where I have given myself more water, been more hydrated, man, I feel so much better. And like, I'm like, man, I'm losing weight. Like this, like it's actually coming off. Then I'm saving money because I'm not buying junk. I'm not buying this stuff. I'm so hungry. Let me stop. Like, right. I'm not doing that. So there's a commitment though that you have to make to yourself, I think, personally. Now, the other thing I know, I touched on it a little while ago about the euphoric feeling of eating foods, and in particular certain foods. There's nothing like having first of all, the meat sweats are real. The meats, when you go and you sweat, the meat sweats are for real. The other thing is, the dreams you have when you eat certain types of pork, when you have all that grease and stuff in your system, boy, they are real. So I remember back in the day, growing up in the Pentecostal church.
So you're trying? Oh, okay.
What?
Never mind.
Yeah.
I was finna take it someplace up when you threw the church into it. I was like, I can't throw the joke in here.
Well, yeah, you can throw it in there, but back in the day,
he had mud butt.
That too. Like,
what are these stains?
I thought I just passed gas, but I need to go change my clothes. And you better not be in a car. You be clenching tight, boy. You like, oh boy, I gotta hurry up, I gotta get to the house. I gotta get to the house.
I try and get rid of that crap.
Yeah, your body's like, nope, I'm not waiting on you, buddy. Your brain ain't gonna be able to hold me in for so long.
Right.
So, like, man, we used to, back in the day, in the Pentecostal church, you had what you call people who said that they were prophets, or they prophesied and told you that they saw different stuff, or they said that they had dreams and visions and whatever, right? And then there was this joke that one of my old pastors used to say, you know, sometimes y'all ain't seeing visions and dreams, y'all just had too much pork before you went to sleep, and
nightmare.
It's affecting your brain when you are asleep, which I know to be true. You know what I'm saying? And so it's difficult for me to trust the word of some people as it pertains to some of the things that they say about your spiritual and mental health when you're not taking care of your physical health. You know what I mean? Because without the physical,
that ties into the food that you eat.
Right, and it ties into the food that you eat. So you got to think about people who are kids, right? A lot of kids are, people say, oh, they're hyper. They're up, you know, but they're drinking Kool-Aid, they're eating candy, they're eating food that's full of sugar. Like, what do you expect?
Not only that, but the hormones that's in the food. Mm-hmm. So their hormones is bouncing around. They don't know what to do with it. All this energy, this extra energy that they got.
Right, above what they should have.
Right. Mm-hmm. Just remember this saying. I don't really hear it that often now, but it used to be a saying when I was young. You are what you eat.
You are. That is correct.
You are what you eat. And I don't think that we looked far into how you can take that. So you are what you eat, whatever that animal, whatever they ate.
Wow.
So whatever they ate, whatever they ingested, you are what they have eaten, because that's what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, think about chitlins. Chitlins is, I mean, real talk. Would you eat human intestines?
Well, hopefully we don't have any Jeffrey Dahmer fans.
But I'm just saying, if somebody was be like, hey, this human intestine, somebody like, ugh, nigga, you eating pig intestines? What's the difference?
And what processes through pig intestines?
Exactly.
Waste, poop, boo-boo.
Shit. And the other crazy thing is the people who prepare the chitlins, you see the shit coming out of it. You still see the booty hole on the end of the joint that they got to cut off of it. Word? You still finna eat this?
Man.
Niggas been eating the booty like groceries since slavery, apparently.
And we still doing it.
Still doing it.
We still doing it.
That's the other thing I don't like about with the chitlins, because this is 2019. We don't have to still eat like slaves.
We really don't, because now
that was slave food, because we didn't have anything else. That was the only thing that we had to eat.
And we got the leftovers.
Right.
And we're still eating leftovers, and we don't have to.
Right.
So it's a choice. It's a choice. Yep. It's a choice.
And like we talked on a previous podcast, it's a choice. All the information is out there, and there's still a line around McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss, man.
So,
yeah.
And niggas is still fighting over the Popeyes chicken. And I'm coming to the realization it's steroids in that jump, because niggas is having roid rage.
Roid rage. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that too. I really think that's true. And this is no conspiracy theory stuff. I really think.
And it ain't just us. I'm seeing white people acting the fool too.
Everybody. Yeah, it's everybody.
So it's like they having roid rage.
And you know the thing that is most not interesting, but most astonishing about it is that it's everybody, and it's the same effect. People are literally fighting. People are literally like, "Give me 3 of them." You got the chicken sandwich? Like, man, I had 2 of them yesterday. I got to get another one today. Wow, boy. Like, yeah, something ain't right about that.
So you saying that I watched the Boondocks episode a few days ago. Dude, it's happening exactly like the episode.
That's so
the episode
crazy.
was like, nigga, you had some of this chicken, nigga. Nigga, eat some of this chicken. I don't want any of this chicken. Eat this chicken, nigga. Fight breaks out. Oh boy. Then Grandpa and Huey, they in the drive-through. All of a sudden, he sees somebody like, "We're out of chicken, sir." He's like, "Hold on, let me get out the car." What do you mean you out of chicken? You out of chicken? How you out of chicken, nigga? Fight breaks out in the drive-through line. Exactly. Like, I was like, man, if this is not happening for real,
that is crazy.
To a T.
And you know, they had the restaurant was called. Remember the episode? The restaurant was called the Itis.
Yeah,
they had the
beds,
the beds in the restaurant where you can eat and go to sleep.
Right,
like that stuff is really happening, and it was.
Truth be told, we had a restaurant like that here.
No,
they had beds.
Get out of here, man!
So
that's crazy.
You know where Alchemy is?
Yes.
That's where it used to be. It used to be called. I went there one time too. I can't think of the name of it right now. But when you go in, they're like platform beds everywhere, and you can come in, and there will be like a little table. Am I boring you, sir?
No, not at all. I didn't get much sleep last night.
But when you come in, they're like beds everywhere, and they have like a little bitty, a little table in the middle, and you can just sit and chill on the bed. You can lay across that junk. She can lay across that junk. Y'all just sitting there eating. I'm like, wow, this is kind of dope. But it was like a few months later, I came to that junk, it was closed. I'm like, man, what the hell? I'm like, we done ruined it. Niggas is probably trying to get it on the bed or something. Nigga try to get some head or something while he eating a sandwich. I'm like, nigga, dude, come on now. Oh, it's a bed. I thought. I'm sure some shit like that popped off.
Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
It was a dope little spot. It was right there where Alchemy is at.
That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous, man. Why do we always have to take stuff way beyond where it should be?
Because you want to try and see, like, let me see if I can get away with it. You probably tell somebody else, hey, you know what? Hey, I got away with getting some head up at this restaurant, dog. You ought to try that joint. Now you got 3 other niggas that's trying to do it.
That's so stupid, man. That's stupid, man. It really is, because it's true. That's what we do.
Yes, we do. Just to see if you can get away with it.
Just to see if we get away with it. See if somebody's going to say something. See if, like, oh, wow. Like, you know what I mean? We ain't, I don't get it, man.
So I'm gonna quit preaching about food. Everybody be like, man, quit talking about. I want to eat my red links. So I ain't gonna talk about the food no more. But so yeah. How was your weekend, sir?
My weekend has actually been pretty good. I've spent some time. Spent more time, and of course, always spending time with my children. There's something interesting that I wanted to bring up, as pertains to the roles that we all have, and to the point of the way we eat. I heard something about the role that the woman plays in the household, whatever that household makeup may be, is to be the scientist, the food preparer of that particular household, right?
Okay.
And taking care and consideration in what the family, the children are eating, right?
Okay.
And the role of the household, because we're talking about the whole person, family, man, woman, child.
Now,
right?
some women are probably listening and saying, I don't like where this is going already.
No, because they're not following. They just got to stay with us.
My role?
Yeah.
What you mean? I got to know my role.
Everybody has a role. So that shouldn't be offensive to anybody. Even kids have roles. You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
So.
But you shouldn't say it as such.
Well, whatever. Like, you don't like it, don't listen. You know what I'm saying? The role that the woman has, the man has, and the child has, right? Because that's really the Trinity. To be honest, that's the Trinity. It's man, woman, and child, right? And we're not talking in the religious aspect, but universally, the Trinity is the man, woman, and child.
I've slick noticed you try and throw it in on every podcast I see.
Well, what are you talking about?
Continue.
I have no clue what you're talking about, sir. Anyway, so there's that sucker Chris Collinsworth. I can't stand him. Anyway,
nothing about football.
Yeah, exactly. So,
neither did this nigga who got this rat hair on top of his head. But hey,
you know, it's funny.
they got LeBron James cut.
They got more people that have never played football and never coached football that analyze football. That's interesting. Anyway, that's with any sport. But anyway, so there's a question that has been posed, and I saw this via social media and prior to social media, I had this conversation some years ago, and now we're seeing this, how we have women referring to their sons as my king. Right. And referring to their kids as those kids are my best friend, which I think is totally way, way, way off base and wrong.
Yeah, your child shouldn't be your best friend.
Your child should not be your best friend. Mm-hmm. Your son should not be your king. There's something inherently wrong with that.
Okay, so I get what you're wanting to put that imagery or that you want your child to feel kingly. So you say that to make them feel that way. So I understand the concept in doing it.
Yeah.
I know you're not. Well, I don't know. Maybe some of them do, but I know they're not praising you like this is my king or whatever like that. Like he is above her or anything. But you want to instill that in him that he's not less than, though.
True. I agree with that.
So I understand that part.
But there's a difference between a king and a prince.
But now I will say, speaking of, I have seen women saying that they are king. They might have king in their name.
And that's wrong. I'm gonna tell you why that's wrong.
Like you might see something that I hope I don't think I know nobody with this name, but you might see something that say King Bianca.
I don't understand Bianca. That, because if they truly understood what a king and a queen really is, the queen actually had more power than the king. Anybody plays chess around here?
Right. Hell, if you saw Game of Thrones.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, when somebody refers to a woman as a queen, you actually have more power than the king does.
The king is the representation of.
And the queen is the one that really calls the shots.
Right.
Because if the king was doing this and there was something that needed to be done, they actually went to the queen to get it done.
The queen didn't fight a war.
She didn't fight. She didn't pull a sword. Sometimes she may, if she wanted to now.
Yeah, some of them know how to swing that thing. Yeah,
but she knew how to influence him to get him to make certain decisions.
Like, hey, you need to go ahead and go get rid of that nigga.
And he'd be like, oh, really? You think so? Oh, okay then. Off with his head.
Right.
Like right there in front of everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they would be like, my queen, what would please you today? Oh, feed all the people today. Let them not work. It is so shall it be done.
But at the same time, I have to say this. Everybody is not a queen.
No.
Everybody is not a king.
No.
There are all roles. There are court jesters.
Yes.
Also, as well.
There are knights.
Yes.
There are princes, princesses.
Correct.
And some people.
But a lot of us are pawns.
A lot of us are. So, to your point, what you just said. So, by definition, we have to decide ourselves what we really are. So, there's a representation there's a definition, there's an equal sign attached to whatever it is that we're claiming we are. So we have to match that. So if we're calling ourselves kings as men, right? And I'm dealing with men right now, then we are supposed to act as such, right? If we're calling ourselves queens, or ladies, women are calling themselves queens, they have to act as such. If your child is a prince, right? That child has to, first of all, be taught what a prince is. That boy, that young lady has to be taught what a princess is, right?
I don't know, man. Prince or whatever his name on Game of Thrones was an asshole.
Well, we're not talking about him. Was it Prince Targaryen, whatever his name?
Whatever that nigga name was, who
he was
who tried to make his new bride watch her dad or whatever be hanged with him. Like, dude,
he was
sadistic.
Yeah, he was something wrong with him. There was something wrong with him since day one, though. But in that case, like, that was somebody who
did not groom him well.
He wasn't groomed well. You know what I'm saying? He was not groomed. Now, he had power. And there's a difference between having power and also having discipline. Now, discipline is what makes you, as a man, a king. Discipline, right? Discipline is what makes you a queen. You know what I'm saying? Because you discipline yourself to align yourself with certain principles related to that role. You know what I mean? And this is not like me being preachy or whatever. I'm applying this to myself first. You know what I'm saying? Because even in the last year, I've had to review my own self and say, okay,
definitely, yes.
Am I a king? Am I representing kingly decisions? Am I representing king fashion? Am I representing a king's mentality? You know what I mean? So what define, like, you can't just say, oh, I mean, it's so interesting because people today have, they have the right to call themselves whatever they want to call themselves. There's no debate there.
Like with Dave Chappelle, this is how I feel inside.
This is how I feel, right? But just because you feel that way, okay, I can feel like I can wake up some mornings and not feel like going to work. I can wake up and not feel like I'm 100%. I can wake up and not feel like I'm a sane person because of experiences. But that does not mean that I'm the opposite, or that does not mean that I don't represent that. You know what I'm saying? And so feelings a lot of times gets us in trouble, and then we attach a title to a feeling when feelings are fleeting. You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't represent kingship, or if I don't represent kingly attitudes,
that's the size that you like.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I think I'm good. Nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful. It's beautiful, but that's not really what I am into right there, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So, and vice versa. It could be the exact opposite of that, and I wouldn't be into that either. So, anyway, we're talking about preferences right now, ladies and gentlemen. So, I myself, I've had to review or collect my thoughts around what represents a king, what represents a queen, what represents a prince, princess, whatever. And there are some things that I have been lacking in. You know what I mean? And
we're all a work in progress.
A work in progress, absolutely.
As long as you're actually working.
Exactly. So here's the thing. Social media, and the way that, I'll say this, the way that we use social media, we're lying to people, and we're lying to ourselves at the same time.
Well, that's it's mainly because we're trying to keep up with the people that we are following.
Wow.
So if most of the people that you're following ain't catching L's, you don't want them to see you catch an L. So you ain't gonna post that L. But when you are winning, you're gonna post when you're winning. when you're having a good time? Have you ever noticed, like, when you're out at a club, like, okay, perfect, I'll say this. Like, I might be on social media and I can see people that I'm following, like, man, I'm having a great time, blah, blah, blah. They post a picture. Mm-hmm. And it looks like they're having a great time.
Correct.
Then when you get there, it's like, is this what's going on? Ain't nobody dancing. Everybody just looking at each other. Or, I'm sorry, they're not even looking at each other. They standing looking at their phone while the music is playing. I'm like, nigga, I could have did this at the crib.
Yeah.
Or, and then next thing you know, you'll see a group of people smile, and then as soon as they put their phone down, they ain't smiling no more. I'm like, they ain't really having no good time.
Nah. They're doing it for me. They're doing it for
impressing each other.
Impressing. So, man, this is such a deep topic. And the reason why I say it's such a deep topic, because what it has done to us is
everybody that follows you, you're waiting for their validation.
The validation. So now I'm glad you brought that word up. So validation. Instead of being validated by what we're actually doing or validated by what we actually believe, we've begun to be validated by what other people perceive us to be.
Yes.
Because perception has become more important than actuality. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because we've been tricked. Reality TV is really not reality. It's 95% of it is scripted. 90% of it is scripted.
I won't say scripted, I'll say staged.
Staged, script, like...
Because staged is different from scripted.
It is. Because stage means you're put in a certain situation, and then they see how you respond to that situation. Yes. So I totally understand.
I will put you in an environment...
Right.
And watch how you react.
So, in my opinion, reality TV, it's all social experimentation. In my opinion, I totally believe that reality TV, there's research that has gone into it and research that is coming out of it to see how people respond to certain situations.
It started when we got into the real world.
Yeah,
Real World was the very first reality TV show.
It was the very first one, and if you look at what is it? Big Brother and all of that. Yes. If you go back to Gilligan's Island, remember Gilligan's Island? Hold on, slow. Stay with me. It's not reality TV. Okay. But listen,
it was like Lost.
Sitcoms, situation comedy, right? It's people put in a certain situation. That particular deal was written like, this is how people are going to respond in this particular situation.
Right.
Now think about this. You remember after we got older and we watched Gilligan's Island, we're like, okay, how is it that the professor could build a radio but he couldn't fix a hole in the boat? Like, something don't make sense about that.
He built a radio out of some coconut.
And he was able to communicate with people but couldn't fix a hole in the boat. It just didn't make sense. So when your brain takes over, when you clear all of the entertainment out of the way and your actual conscious takes place, and you're like, wait a minute, something ain't right about this. So when I look at certain quote unquote reality shows, I'm like, wait a minute, do people actually respond like that? Do people actually throw water on each other at brunch all the time and fight and cuss and slap and kick like that?
Let's go back to this Gilligan's Island. You know what I felt wasn't right?
Sure.
When nobody was trying to smash.
Okay, well, all right then.
Because
we're talking about human behavior. We're talking about human behavior, right?
I was just saying. Okay, outside of Mrs. Howe, she was married.
Correct.
The other guys. You had two other women. Weren't there two other women on the?
Mary Ann and there was another lady.
Woman, right?
Yeah, it was three ladies and
three other guys.
You had Thurston Howell.
So I'm not counting Thurston Howell and Mrs. Howell.
And Mrs. Howell.
So you got outside the two other ladies, there were three other guys.
Right. So you had the professor.
Right. Gilligan.
You had Gilligan and Skipper.
Right.
And nobody was trying to have sex with anybody.
Right.
So in reality,
we stranded on this island.
We stranded on an island. we hadn't been around other human beings forever,
Right.
and nobody's trying to smash. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I'm like, word? So
look,
these two other women.
you're still hungry because if you think about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You got to have food, shelter, sex, ability to make money, whatever I think is in that. I can remember it to learn to college, but that's part of that hierarchy of needs. So sex is up there, right?
Right.
So, and nobody is trying to do that. Conflict as well, because humans, the conflict is a part of human behavior.
Did they? I never saw them eat food on Gilligan's Island.
I remember them drinking, but I have to go back and watch the show. I don't remember them eating on Gilligan's Island.
I didn't watch it that often, but the episode I did watch, I don't remember them eating.
They're probably eating coconut flesh or something, or wild boar.
But still, like I said, there were weird things about this show. I'm like, hold on, man. She kind of hot. Ain't nobody trying to smash.
Nobody's trying to do anything.
Dude, she wearing these little shorts on the island, and ain't nobody flirting.
And
no one's flirting.
Gilligan and Skipper were like really tight. And that's
yeah. But still, the professor, he wasn't choosing on nobody either.
Well, I don't know. He may not have liked one.
This is crazy, man. This is crazy.
And I say that because regardless of what...
You know what? I know what it was.
What?
Back then in those times... Because remember in like the Brady Bunch, the mom and dad had separate beds in the bedroom.
And on Brady Bunch? Or was that
it was one of those shows.
Was it I Love Lucy, didn't it? They had separate beds or something like that, didn't it?
I won't say Brady Bunch, they had separate beds too.
I can't remember.
The whole thing about showing sexual interaction.
Yeah, they didn't do that on television back then.
They didn't do that. So that might have been what it was too.
And even though, see, that's the other thing about that's media too. Back then, they didn't, you couldn't kiss on TV, okay, and you couldn't show a husband and wife laying in the same bed or getting in the same bed, right? Even though that's in reality
what husband and wife do.
That's what husbands and wives do, right?
But you don't want to offend.
But you don't want to offend anyone, right? Because culturally and traditionally and religiously at that particular time, that was off limits.
Now it's 2019 and F your feelings.
Yeah, exactly. At 4:00 in the afternoon,
you're like dog.
You see people kissing cats. It don't matter. But to the point of what we perceive and what we show, we want to be validated by people that either don't even know us or don't know us well or don't care about us anyway. Because we started to live our lives for likes. We've started to live our lives for the approval of others. We've started to live our lives for the exception of people that have no effect on our career, that have no effect on our day-to-day living, that have no effect on our futures. And the people that do...
But when you don't get likes, it does affect the rest of your day.
It does, because what happens is you got this cold idea, or you got this picture that you really think that you took, that you look good in. You got these new clothes. You just got your hair done. You just got your nails done, ladies, to feet, whatever. And you put it out there and you get 3 likes and you be mad for an entire week. You be mad. So guess what?
These hoes don't know nothing about fashion.
Guess what? You go and delete the picture and put another one out there. Or you delete it and say, I'm going to wait till I look better. Don't put me at the dawn. Don't put me like that. I ain't got my makeup on. Mm-hmm. Like, wait a minute. It's been 30 people that have seen you all day. At the grocery store, at church, whatever. You didn't have full makeup on, whatever. And like you said, I'm seeing people now that are at events, at parties, taking pictures smiling as if they're having a great time, right? And they don't even smile when you see them. They won't even speak to you. Like, what was so interesting for me a couple years ago, because now people tend to do it now more. They'll, if they notice you or remember you from social media interactions, they might say, "Well, oh, you saw." But sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah.
But I remember years ago, I know for a fact that I have had people to say, "Oh, I saw you." And I'm like, why you ain't say nothing?
Right.
Because it's normally me. If I think I know you, I'm gonna say, hey, what's up? I might not know your name, but if I've interacted with you, I'm like, hey, what's going on? You doing all right?
Right.
I have done that.
Right.
This is no lie. I have done that. And people looked at me like, who the hell are you talking to? I'm like, ain't you? Hey, what's going on? You doing all right? Oh, I'm doing good. Now, I won't mention people's family. I won't say nothing about their family or nothing like that. I'm like, hey, what's going on? You doing all right? Yeah. Or like, oh, what's up? I'm like, dude, like, you like the Cowboys? You like the Patriots? We be laughing all the time about that.
Now you look crazy.
And now I look like a stalker. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm having the same normal conversation that I would have on social media. You know what I'm saying?
Social media has made, how I view it, this is my opinion, social media has made everyone socially awkward.
Yeah, very much so.
So no one really knows how to interact with anyone socially in real life anymore.
They really don't, because it takes the element of personality out of the equation altogether. It takes it out altogether.
Now, me, I would say I've always been socially awkward. I'm the type of person, when I'm in the club, I try to find a corner or a back wall and observe.
Correct.
And then I'll find somebody like, oh, okay, there goes Sam right there. I'm gonna see what's up. Oh, there go my guy over there. I'm gonna see what's up. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
But I hate going to the club. I hate having to interact with people.
I don't think I love interacting with people, and maybe that's just me, or maybe it's a Libra thing or something. But I enjoy interacting. I enjoy interacting with people, whether I'm interacting with them on social media or if I'm interacting with them in person. I enjoy more interacting in person, because guess what? You know something? A friend of mine, we were talking about text messages have no, like, somebody could send a text message and say, like, you can send a text message to somebody.
Personal.
They're not personal.
Personable.
Right. So somebody could send you a text and say, hey, man, I'll be there. I'm going to pick up this product and I'm going to drop it off at your house at 5:30. And, I'll drop it off at 5:30. I'll leave it on the porch. And you'd be like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. Right. And okay, it's kind of understood, depending on the relationship, if it's a business or whatever. Somebody could text you and say, hey, how was your day today? You say, okay, it was great. That's all? It was great? Well, yeah, it was great. Like, it was great. It's like, okay, that's it. It was great. That's all you got to say.
More. Yeah,
right. But I'm saying, like, yeah, if I'm responding, yeah, it was great. I had a great day, you know, whatever. You can't, there may not be any hostility or you know, there may not be any bad feelings, but just because that person responded with a quick or simple response, they feel like, oh, so you ain't gonna tell me how your day was, or you must don't want to talk.
But see, that's how they take it, and that's how they use that word to someone else. I figured that out. So like when people get upset about something that you text them, like sometimes I might just be like, I bet. Or I might be like, yeah. Right. Oh, why you gotta say it like that? Yeah.
Right.
But if you figure out how they use it when they text other people, that is smart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, why are you saying me yeah like that? I'm like, what you talking about? I just said yeah. They use it in a negative way. So when you send it to them, they're looking at it in a negative way because that's how they use it.
Yeah, because typically people think that the way they treat other people is the way that people are always going to treat them. So if you're a person that dogs folk out, they always worry about people dogging them out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's in their head. Oh, this is the stuff that I do. Let me watch these mugs do this shit to me too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But if you're a person that's that has a pure heart and you really don't have any feelings behind it, you can just be having a regular conversation. And that's why I think when people are having disagreements, they should either get on the phone so you can hear that person's voice, or you need to talk in person and say, okay, let's sit down and talk face to face. That's why back in the day, men would not send messages through other people. If they heard something, they right, and we're the same way. Because, you know, we come from a different cloth. We come from a different era. We're like, hey, you got a problem, come see me. Or I need to come see you. Let's sit down and have a conversation. Let's sit down and talk.
Or I just think, I'm like, okay, I see this nigga got a problem with me. I'm
right. Or I'm like, hey, okay, you go your way, I'm going to go mine. We're going to stay out of each other's way. You know what I'm saying? Because a text message or a social media message can be totally taken the wrong, and
especially if you post it on social media.
Especially if you post it on social media. Now, the other thing is, what we do, instead of going to somebody directly, we'll subliminally post it. Man, these niggas ain't shit. Instead of calling the one that you believe to be that way and addressing them directly. Or you've already done that and you didn't get the response that you wanted. So now you're emotionally charged, and now your thumbs and your fingers go to working, which I think everybody has done it at some point.
Yeah.
Everybody's done it at some point, because if you're connected to a means of communication, whatever your emotion is going to come out. But
the 90% of the stuff I don't post, nigga.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm glad I don't.
Man.
And that's why a lot of times if I'm upset about something, if I'm passionate about something, I will put whatever it is I got. Like, I will put my phone down.
Roll it up, my nigga. Roll it up. I'm with it.
Because I'm like, nah, let me stop. Like, nah, let me use some self. That's why, again, we talked about roles and definitions of what we do and what we claim to be. It takes discipline and self-control in every aspect of life.
Well, unfortunately, due to media outlets, social media, stuff like that, the roles have reversed.
In a lot of ways.
So now that the roles have reversed, you got to look at it. Although they are in these reverse roles, they really don't know how to be in this role.
Right.
So what we are seeing are people who are taking on the role and not handling the role like they should.
Correct.
So you're seeing like you see a lot of women who are taking on the man role to the point where if they get into a relationship, they don't want to relinquish the man role. So now she's the head of the household and he's the head of the household, and y'all bumping heads all the time.
Okay.
Because she's not willing or wants to be submissive to the man of the house, because she's been paying the bills, she's been doing this, she don't need a man to do this, that, and the other, because she's been the man role.
Right.
So now that the roles are reversed, she's not willing to let that go, or how should I say? It's almost like she has had the role, and when a man comes along and says this, that, and the other, it's like, nah, nigga, I ain't gonna do that. She's not trusting in the man that she chose, I guess you could say. And
right.
I want to say that's a lot of issues in relationships that I've noticed, where the respect, like, you don't respect the nigga that you with. And if you don't respect him, why you even with him though?
And you chose him.
Because if you don't respect him, you're not going to respect any of his decision making.
No.
Anything that he says or whatever, him being any type of head of the house, he's never going to have, because you're telling him, nah, we ain't doing it.
You know what a lot of that is rooted in? It is rooted in it's rooted in, and there's a lot of misinformation about that. So I've heard several ladies speak to this and say that the reason why they've had to step into the role of, I guess, being head of household or independent or taking on more of a more masculine, I guess, if you want to say that, in some ways, not necessarily, but because, guys have not stepped up to the plate, guys have not done their job, so forth and so on, which in some cases I do understand, right? But just stay with me. Just stay with me.
No, I'm with you. I was just going to chime in on something.
But, yeah. And so looking at that, I don't think that is inherently the reason why every single time.
No. I ain't saying that. I was just using that. I was using it as an example of role reversals.
Yeah.
And what you were saying as far as with men, with that men aspect, in some point with that, I feel like that has to do with the world also.
Yeah.
Because how the world works now, I'll beat the black man down and I'll give your wife a job. The job that you want. I'll give it to her. You'll feel less than because she's making the money now.
Right.
Now you over here, or now you got to find a lesser paying job or something like that, and she's bringing home the bacon.
Right.
So sometimes I don't even really, I don't know, because it's not really talked about a lot of time as far as black men, but that's a lot of pressure on a black man who sometimes it can be depressing because there's a lot of depression happening a lot now. Yeah. It's very apparent now. Yeah. But if you're in the house and your wife or your girlfriend is making 2 or 3 times more than you, and you probably might be making $10, $12 an hour. Sometimes in that dynamic, you ain't making no decisions in the house.
No.
Because you ain't got no money to pay no bills.
And
it's going to be made apparent to you that you are not making any financial decisions.
The first sight. So, and this is just we're having a conversation, and this is just 2 men being honest about what we've seen, what we've heard.
Yes, everything I'm speaking on is based off experience or what I've witnessed.
Yeah, and this is not us bashing women or bashing successful women or anything like that.
Oh no! I'm not.
I know that's not what you're saying. I'm
not trying to bring it up like that. It's just what I've witnessed and what you see on TV.
Right, and so looking at the situation, so what happens is there's always ego attached to money. First of all, let's be real. Yes. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your background is.
The world makes it.
The world makes it. Yeah. But the world also tries to assume that there isn't. But there really is. There is ego attached to how much money you make.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Like amongst your friends, amongst other guys, amongst your family, amongst whoever. Like, there's always going to be ego.
How you walk around on when you ain't got nothing in your pocket, as opposed to how you walk around when you just got paid.
Exactly,
it's a totally different walk.
It's a totally different walk, and it's a totally different feeling, and it's totally different because you can look at the attitude of, let's say, you're in a business setting where everybody gets paid the same day, right? If you notice the feeling around the job on payday versus on Monday, it's totally different.
Niggas ain't even going to work on payday.
Okay. I ain't got to say nothing else then. I ain't got to say nothing else.
I was just saying, like, man, shit, I got paid.
So really, and like, think about it. Because, see, check this out. If we were working jobs,
the only way we coming to work is if I have to pick up my check.
I got to pick my check up.
If it's direct deposit,
I got a cold.
I ain't coming in today.
I got a cold, and the liquor store gonna be full. But that's another story. So think about this. I wrote this piece when I was in college, and it detailed what I thought the response, or kind of a hypothetical makeup or situation would be if everybody at a particular company made the same amount of money. Everybody had different positions, still had the same positions and so forth, if everybody made the same amount of money. And so what I looked at was the guy that was the lowest, basically on the rung as far as responsibility and role. Then the next guy up, then the guy maybe level with him, and then the next person up, and then this person here, and then you got the top of the company. And what I looked at was that in those situations, and this is kind of pulled from various areas of research, and also various people that
Paula Abdul?
I think it is Paula Abdul.
Man,
Yeah, she still looks the same. And so
used to be the love of my life.
maybe she leads a plant-based life because she looks the same. But so looking at that, what I saw was, and this is interesting, what I saw, and this is people that I got information from and asked questions about, how would you feel if your boss made the same amount of money as you did? And then I asked people who were upper level executives, how would you feel if your boss made the same amount of money as you did? And how would you feel if the people below you made the same amount of money as you did, right? So I looked at it from the perspective of if everybody in the entire company was paid minimum wage, right? Everybody in the company was paid minimum wage, or if everybody in the company was paid a CEO salary, how would the responses be as far as hierarchy?
Well, one, ain't nobody gonna want to try and move up the ladder.
Okay.
I'm good where I'm at.
Yeah, but that part of it, I think, was part of it. That part of it was pretty kind of self-explanatory, but it was the other part of giving direction is what I found the contrast was so strong, was the fact that there were people who said, man, if my boss made the same amount of money as I did and we were on the same level, he couldn't tell me shit.
Well, yeah, that too.
That's what I heard a lot of people say. Oh, you can't tell me nothing. You make the same amount of money as I do. You just do more work, or you just do less work. Right?
Right.
Because people associate status to how much money you make. They associate power to how much money you make as well.
True.
Because people say, I'm the most powerful people in the company, blah, blah, blah. Well, a lot of the reason why they're powerful is because they make 6 times more than what you make. So they call shots, not just because they're powerful, because they get paid to make those decisions. But if you all were making, everybody was making the same amount of money, you wouldn't care. Like, you'd be like, dude, you get paid the same amount of money as I do. You can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or,
Right.
and I've heard people say, in certain situations, you had a person that was a supervisor or a manager. Then you had a person that was above them, right? And that supervisor or manager made just slightly above what the average hourly employee made. And there were some hourly employees with overtime that made as much as the manager did or above. And they didn't have hardly any respect for that person.
Yeah, because I remember when I was younger, I was a handful. When I found out that you ain't make that much more than me, man, I walk out on the job. Man, I'd be like, man, fuck this job, and walk out. It'd be like cursing supervisor out. Like, man,
Because think about it. You making just a little more than I'm making, but you assume more risk than me. You know what I'm saying? So I can talk to you how I want to. Like, I can quit this job and go get me something else. You can't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the first time you mess up, you right down here where I am. So what difference does it make?
Right.
So looking at the household a lot of times is viewed the same way. Oh, you really tell me much because you making this, that, and the other. Or
You just lost your job. You really can't say shit.
Or like the guys that make all the cheese and they wife stay at home or whatever.
This is true too.
It's like, oh, honey, what you say to me? I'm the boss in this MF. Like, you go get them kids. You see what I'm saying? I've seen, like, I have been.
Now, I've never experienced that or seen that firsthand, so I can't really.
So I'm gonna tell you.
I've only seen that through like the movies or TV and stuff like that.
I'm gonna tell you. So my son, my stepson, oldest, was in private school for several years, and some of the folks that were other parents in those private schools, right? The husband made X amount. The wives either didn't work or they made a lower amount, right? They had to ask permission from their husbands to spend a certain amount of money, right?
Okay.
I don't know a whole lot of black husbands that have to give their wives permission to spend money. That's just me. That's my perspective. It's what I've seen. Y'all get mad at me if you want to. I don't know too many black women that are married to men who make XYZ, whatever, that ask permission from their husbands to spend a certain amount of money. Now, it may be a question about something. Their husband may be like, oh, women, now you spent such. Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
She didn't already spent.
She didn't already
spend.
But
she not finna
ask you.
Yes.
She not finna ask you, can I go buy these shoes? No, she's gonna be like, do these shoes look nice or not? Which pair of these shoes do you like?
Right.
I'm getting these shoes.
Right.
Because guess what? The money that you make is mine too. It's already assumed. It's already assumed. On the opposite side, sometimes not necessarily the same. And I think that's where the difference is when it comes to ego as it pertains to how much money you make. You know what I'm saying? And people get mad about that, but they get mad because a lot of times it's rolling over their toes is the reason why. You know what I'm saying?
But that whole money thing, it's gotten worse because, okay, think about the generation after us. They're spending exaggerated amounts of money on bullshit just to say, hey, I spent all this money on bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's like now
it's about impressing somebody else.
And being broke in the process.
Being broke.
They're going to be broker than we are.
Like, dude, like, in all honesty.
Like, broker than we are.
And we'll have to, like.
Or were.
Dude, like, and we'll have to do a pod. We'll have to do a pod completely about the whole economic situation. Because it's really eye-opening, the situation that we really are in. Like, people don't really know. Like, we in bad freaking shape. Like, when it comes to money, man. Like,
in all
we in bad
honesty,
shape.
Like, what's this, 2019? It took me about 2 years to finally figure this whole thing out and how, like, folks is making money off of social media and stuff.
Bruh, like, when we talked about last time, about how, you know, Instagram taking away the likes and all that kind of stuff, but then thinking about, like, Instagram has been a money-making tool. People have made millions from that because it's distribution.
Right.
Like, you took out the middleman. I don't have to sell you a CD no more in the parking lot. I can just put my music out there and get a bunch of followers, and then y'all got direct access to what I have, and I can sell it directly to you that way. You know what I'm saying? You DM, I get your address and send it to you. You can cash out me the money. You can PayPal it to me. You can pay for it through my website, whatever. And, like, boom, you got it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I understand why, like, a lot of these social media sites are starting to charge people for certain stuff because they're making money off of them. You know what I'm saying? And the thing, though,
but they already making money though.
Yeah, they are. But come on, you're talking about corporate greed. It don't change. Like,
you making money off of the ad, the sponsored ads is coming up through the feed.
But you got to think about it. Greed, brother.
Man, that's ridiculous. You can't have all the money, man.
No, that's true.
I'm saying to them, you can't have all the money, man.
Yeah, but you know they'll try. It's
like, dude,
until it all comes crashing.
You over here making money?
Yeah, until it comes crashing.
We gotta stop this.
Yeah, until it crashes, which it always does. It always does. It always comes up and it always goes down. It's universal law. You know what I mean? So, you know, but perception, like, everybody's selling these days. It don't matter if you don't have your own business or your own company, your own product or whatever. Everybody's selling. Like, everybody's selling themselves. Everybody's, I'm living a movie. No, you ain't. You ain't living a movie. You not. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no budget for props. It ain't no budget for a stage. This is your real life.
Right.
But you're trying to show people that you have things better than you really do. Or when shit really gets bad, then you got people posting about, and what we know to be we can't take lightly is when people start posting cryptic messages. Right. I don't want to live no more type of stuff. Now that's the downside, I believe, of social media, because now you feel like you're worthless. People are not paying any attention to you. People are not showing you any appreciation. You feel left alone in the world, even though
I ain't gonna lie, I felt some kind of way when I was posting on Facebook, and I was like, damn, only Sam like this, John?
Well, sometimes
I'm like, man, hold on, man. I only get like 3 likes now. What's going on?
So you gotta remember, you gotta always check.
About to jump off the house.
You got, man, please. Nah, it's just, man. I just think that I enjoy social media. I enjoy the benefits of it, being able to connect with people, but I also dislike. The phrase that Jay says, and I can't remember exactly what song it is in, but he was like, in the drop, you're so easy to touch. Like he was talking about Kennedy getting shot in the drop top. That's the way I feel about social media sometimes. It's access. You have no covering, especially when you're heavily involved in it. And people can shoot shots at you any point in time and hit you. You know what I'm saying? Because like there was a particular, man, there's been plenty of people who got in trouble with something, pastor getting in trouble with his side chick and stuff like that. And she posts the video, and then before you know it, 2 hours later, 3,000 people have seen that. And now he's got to shut his page down and shut the church's page down, and his wife's page gets shut down, his kids' page gets shut down. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. You know what I mean? And so people will say, well, man, you shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. Yeah, you got a point. You're right. You shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. But think about how much faster. Of course, bad news travels fast, but bad news via social media travels at the speed of lightning, the speed of sound. You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy how fast that spreads. But you say something positive, and it's like
people.
It's crickets.
It's crickets. It really is.
It's like this.
Yep. Dead silence.
You're like, dude.
Dead silence.
No one likes positivity.
It's not as
it's crazy.
It's not as entertaining because we want to be entertained. And that's what it is. We're all entertainers now. We're all entertaining. We're showing pictures of shoes. We showing the kids playing soccer. We showing that, and that proves that we're good parents. We're showing our dishes that we cook. With food, you know what I mean? There goes the thing with food again.
And then when
we're hotepping people to death, like, we're talking down about everything that black folks do.
And then if you're so positive, here come this old positive ass nigga.
Yeah, here come this positive. Ain't nobody that positive. You know what I'm saying? The devil, you got to think about the devil that wants you to be happy all the time to trick you into thinking that stuff is good, but it really ain't. Man, come on, man. Like, I have to say,
what? I shouldn't say it like this, but today, I shouldn't say it like this, but you got to think of it and here, I guess you're rubbing off on me, but
what you mean?
If you think about like with Jesus,
okay.
So if you think about like what I just said, here come this nigga healing folks over here. Here come this healing nigga again. This nigga just walked on water last week. Man, I gotta do something about this, man.
That's the other part.
But that's what it is.
That's what it is. Like, people would much rather. Have you noticed how many people, if they say something negative and they be like, man, stuff going so bad in my life, man, I just want to kill myself. And somebody be like, oh man, you don't need to do that. And you get all these comments, right? Mm-hmm. And the very next day, you say, man, stuff going so great in my life, I just want to live. And you may get a certain amount of responses, but it sure don't be as many as the others. And then somebody inboxes, man, did you hear so-and-so say they want to kill themselves? But they won't inbox you and say, man,
are you all right?
Right. Or they won't inbox and say, man, you know, so and so said they want to live, man. That's great.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we feed off of negative energy because we've been involved with negativity for so long that positive actually has adverse effects on us.
I have some negative things going on in my life right now. If I was to post that junk right now, that junk would probably be going off the hinges.
Dude, you would be getting inboxes. Folks would be texting you. Folks would be calling you.
Right.
Folks would be, man, you know, you want to talk?
Right.
Because they really want to know your business, nosy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you, man, we got this podcast. We're talking about good stuff. Crickets.
Oh, okay, I'm going to check it out.
I'm going to check it out. Crickets. Every now and then. You know what I'm saying?
But to the ones who have been listening,
Absolutely.
again, thank you.
Man, thank you.
Shout out to the new listeners.
Absolutely, man.
I've been peeping that the downloads have been growing.
Yes,
so
yes. Applause.
Thank you.
If we had an applause button, we pushing it right now. Let me give y'all absolutely. Thank y'all so much.
Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell your cousin, auntie, all it.
Man, tell people with no ears.
What?
We got Braille. You can listen to it in Braille.
No.
That didn't even make any sense.
Right. I'm like, how is this possible?
And Braille is for blind people anyway. So
like,
blind people should be able to hear the podcast.
What is this guy talking about?
I'm being silly. I'm being silly. I'm being silly.
But yeah, I am more and more because I have been having some people bump it into me and like, hey, I peeped the podcast, man. I like that junk.
Yeah.
Like, I just talked to somebody today and it was like, I like that Black Boys Rock No Cap junk. That junk's kind of hard. I like that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I appreciate the love. I appreciate the just the simple fact y'all just want to hear us ramble off on silly things, silly shit, us being silly. So I appreciate that.
It's all calculated though. The silliness is calculated as well.
Right. Well, that's just Memphis. We gonna always,
of course,
check you, find something to check. You can be the finest thing on the earth. I'm still gonna find something to rock your ass off.
You fine, ain't it? Ugly,
right?
Girl, you look good, don't it? Wanna be Pam Grier looking at? Wanna be Rihanna looking?
I don't know what that 1-2 buckle my shoe face is.
You cute, ain't it? Ugly.
Right. What's your number?
Right. Oh, what's your IG?
Right.
What's your IG?
But are you happy though?
Man, look at that.
Gotta throw that in there. That old T.I. line. Man, my favorite jump from that T.I. jump. But were you at odds though? I use that all the time. If ever I'm getting into an argument, I'm like, but were you at odds though? Jason, shut up. There's a lot of foolishness on this TV.
I was about to say, with this American Music Awards, I have no clue what is going on here, but it's some very.
You see what it's promoting though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, propaganda all around there.
All around. But finna go ahead and wrap this junk up. Sam has yawned like 82 times.
Man, whatever. There we go, man. This dude, man. Golly.
I think it's past his bedtime.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's past his bedtime. So go ahead and wrap this junk up. I am Jason J. Will Does It, and my guy Sam.
Why do you always pause when you get ready to say my name?
Because I'm trying to think of something else, but I'm like, nah, I'm going to stick with that junk. So I'll pause for a minute, and I think that you'll chime in on your own, but
I'm trying to.
So
it's Ivan the Great, man. Ivan the Great, aka Shaw. That's me.
Shaw.
For sure. It's Shaw. For sure, Shaw.
And we off on the tangent, and we're up at this junk. Peace.
Know your role.
Hollow. No rolls. Slow your roll. How about that shit?